Hi everyone, it's Lewis Thunderball101, and today I'm back for another video. So today I'm going to do the power rankings of the Chill Draft League Season 4. And doing power rankings is not an easy job, so which is why I invited a friend of mine, Cosmic Cow 13, to help me out in this ranking. So please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Kyle. I have been playing Pokemon for as long as I can remember. I started in Emerald. My favorite Pokemon's Breloom. Yeah, that's about it for me.
Okay, Kyle also has a Twitch channel, Cosmic Cow 13. I will leave the link in the description. And that's probably about it for us. And let's get into the power rankings. So, first of all, Kyle, do you mind explaining the format of this season?
Sure. So what we did was we took this chart and we kind of loosely followed it. We are judging on a 3-point scale for each of the topic or the categories. Yeah, 3 points if you're the best, 1 point to 0 points if you're struggling or lacking in that category. Yeah, if you want to pause and read over all of this, you can. If not, feel free to follow along.
Yeah, so this league will be in a season 12, series 12 format of VGC. So which means there are double restricted. So each team gets to use 2 restricted Pokemon, so which means that the power level will be quite high, and also Dynamax is in here. So yeah, that's about it. And without further ado, let's get into the teams. So for the 12th place, we have the Furious Lykan Rocks with 7 points. So yeah, they have 7 out of 15 points in total. One thing that we didn't like about this team is their synergy. First of all, they have Sableye and Tapu Fini. So Sableye is notorious for spreading status conditions and also quashing, but status conditions is what we are looking at right now, and Tapu Fini's Misty Terrain blocks things like Will-O-Wisp and Thunder Wave, so that's actually a counter synergy. And yeah, that's about it for these two. There's also there's another thing that we see about synergy is that Sableye could use Rain Dance to give Ludicolo its Swift Swim, but Rayquaza's Cloud 9 will remove the rain so that Ludicolo does not get the Swift Swim anymore. And yeah, that's 2 of the few anti-synergy this team has. What do you think?
Yeah, I like the foundation of this team. Tapu Fini and Metagross and Urshifu Rapid I think could be a strong core to build around. But this team is just missing a couple of things. One, it doesn't have a fire type, so it's kind of like lacking there. It doesn't complete its fire, water, grass core, which is like the biggest thing in competitive Pokemon. You always look for that fire, water, grass core. And it also has 2 of the lower end restricted ones. When you think of Rayquaza and Mewtwo, you're not thinking, oh, jump off the page competitive usage. Especially with Mewtwo, when you don't have Psychic Terrain, isn't able to use Side Spam in methods, and Rayquaza is just Rayquaza, really. It's good, but it's not great.
Yeah,
I think that just sums up this team perfectly. It's good, but it could have been way better.
I agree. Also, another thing is that their only Trick Room setter is Mewtwo, which, in case you didn't know, Mewtwo is quite the fast Pokemon, and I don't think it will benefit for setting Trick Room for like Guzzlord or something like that. Like, it's just not a good Trick Room user. But yeah.
Could we see the rare Iron Ball Trick Room Mewtwo?
Iron Ball Trick Room Mewtwo. That's cool. Possible tech? Yeah. But that's probably about it for this team. Kyle, would you do the honors?
Yeah, so with this team, it's our first mono-type team. We have 2 this season. This one went mono-psychic. So what we see here is it's lacking in the type spread category, but it's kind of hard to do so with mono teams. They're missing several key types, as you can see. But I think the biggest thing for them would have been to take one of the psychic steel types like Necrozma Duskmane or Metagross, or even something like Bronzong, I think would have helped this team a lot, because it also would have helped in the physical special spread, which is also very lackluster. So one thing they could have done is maybe not taken Tapu Lele, because they already have a psychic fairy type in Hatterene, and taken something like a Bronzong. But they chose to go the psychic terrain method with Tapu Lele, so I don't know. I still think there's room for this team to be changed around a little bit, and it could be a lot. I think it could be stronger if they did stuff like that. What do you think, Thunder?
Yeah, I totally agree with what you just said. To be honest, I don't see anything else that I could possibly mention. Like, there's no psychic type intimidate user, so they don't really have a way to get intimidate. Yeah, and that's probably about it. There's not much else we can talk about this team. It's just mono psychic, which mono psychic already has quite a few problems on its own, especially like the type spread, because fire psychic types aren't in this game, like Delphox isn't in Sword and Shield. So yeah, I think that's about it. The Cleveland Tube Hiders got 7.5, right? Is it 7.5?
Yeah, 7.5 out of a possible 15 points.
Yeah, that's about it for this team. So let's move on to the next one. So for the 10th place, we have the Bristol Bewares. So this team has scored 8 points out of 15. So as you can see, we gave it Synergy quite a bad scoring. This is because we can see both Ninetales Alola, which set up Hail, and Sandaconda, which set up Sand. So he has two weathers which counteract each other, so that's not really that good. And besides, he doesn't have anything to abuse Hail or Sand. Like, he doesn't have a Slush Rush user, he doesn't have a Sand Rush user, he doesn't even have a Rock type to get the special defense boost from Sand. So that's one of the main things we see with Synergy. You want to go about the support?
Yeah, this team's really lacking from a Trick Room setter and a Tailwind setter. Both, it doesn't have either, and what we see is a very powerful Trick Room sweeper in Conkeldurr, but it's missing that Trick Room setter, so you can't really have a Trick Room sweeper without a Trick Room setter. You need somebody to set Trick Room in order to be able to benefit from Trick Room. Yeah, it also is missing something like a grass type. It doesn't have that, and it doesn't have, we see Rotom Wash and we see Manectric and Kingler, so Rotom Wash is kind of an overlap in typings over Manectric and Kingler, so maybe you swap Manectric out for a Trick Room setter and then you swap Kingler out for a grass type. I think would make this team so much better already, because like the core of this team is super strong with Cinderace, with Eternatus and Lugia and Rotom Wash. Lugia ain't dying in one shot. Eternatus is super strong. Cinderace is super fast. So you've got a good core. I just think it needs to be tinkered a little bit.
Yes, I agree with you, and that's probably all we have for this team. Is that its weather counters each other. It doesn't have a Trick Room or Tailwind, and it lacks like a Fire, Water, Grass core, and that's basically it. That's all we have for this team. So yeah, moving on. You want to go for it, Kyle?
Yeah. Moving on to the Old English Ice Cube. This has a score of 10 out of 15. So we're getting higher. We've hit double digits. The synergy on this team lacks a little bit. What we see once again another super strong core of Moltres, Galar, Raikou, and then Necrozma, Duskmane, and Xerneas. But we don't really see the pieces fitting together too well. Like Mudsdale Shore can use Bulldoze or Earthquake to proc a weakness policy on Necrozma Duskmane. Xerneas just sets up with Geomancy. But that's about it. We don't have a terrain setter for Hitmonlee on Burden. We don't have good
like we don't have a reliable procer for Moltres.
Yeah. So it just lacks in the synergy department. we're starting to see it's also missing some crucial support moves. It doesn't have an Intimidate user.
There's no Tailwind.
But it has a Trick Room Saturn Duskmore, but not really anybody to abuse Trick Room. So
I guess Duskmane can abuse Trick Room, but
basics are there. Yeah, our level of this season being up a lot, we're kind of being picky with what we like and what we don't like. So
yeah, and that's probably it. And another synergy I can see is beat up Salazzle on Mudsdale to proc stamina boosts and get very powerful body press. But yeah, that's probably about it. Like he can maybe Tangela can use redirection moves to let Zernia set up Geomancy, but yeah, as Kyle said, that's probably it, and there's not much else. Maybe get a Ice Shard user that can proc Moltres Galar for a weakness policy, and you can Dynamax it and like do max airstreams, and that's really good. But yeah, that's about it for the Old English Ice Cube. It's not a bad team, like, but it could have been better. So moving on, we have Sting Like a Bombi. So this team has a scoring of 10.5 out of 15. So this is the second mono-type team in this season. So this one did Mono Dragon. So obviously for all mono-type teams, their type spread wouldn't be that good. Like if they got something like Palkia, then that would be very good because it can help them finish their Fire, Water, Grass core. But unfortunately Palkia got sniped. There's no reason they use Kingdra because they don't have a Rain Setter. And yeah, so that's probably how it goes. But they do have a better type spread compared to the other mono-type team. Like most of their dragon types don't have an overlapping typing. Synergy wise, they could go for like a weak dragon move on Gudra, because Gudra is very bulky, and especially if it's maxed, it like a dragon pulse from like Haxorus wouldn't do much to Gudra. So yeah, but that's probably like the only synergy I see. The only Trick Room user on their team is Dialga, which having a restricted, having these only support move on the team isn't that good unless like you're an Yveltal with Tailwind. They do have a very reliable Tailwind in Noivern, which is quite good. And as you can see, it has we gave it a very good rating on the offensive and defensive side because we feel like that they have a good balance between offensive Pokemon and defensive Pokemon. They have a good balance between fast Pokemon and bulky Pokemon. So yeah, that's about it. Do you have anything to add?
No, I was kind of surprised by the support score on this for this one. I figured, oh, Mono Dragon, I don't think they're gonna score very high because they don't have an Intimidate user. They don't have other important support moves like Fake Out, but they still get Will-O-Wisp, they still get Thunderwave, they still get Tailwind and Trick Room. It's insane how good the Dragon type is. Our defending champs, by the way.
Yeah, this person ran the mono type Psychic team last season and he got the entire champion of season 3, so this guy's very good.
Quite impressive.
Yep, so don't get fooled by the score of this team because this guy plays really well. So moving on, we have the Bonsai Boys with 11 out of 15 as their score. So as you can see, they have a Sun team. You have Venudon, you have a Suicune, which is very good in Sun teams. You have Cherrim, which needs to work in Sun. Cherrim Ho-Oh is a great pair to boost attack and special defense, which are Ho-Oh's biggest stats. You have Hitmontop, which has Intimidate and Fake Out and Mag Punch, and it's really good. Gengar could do things like Will-O-Wisp and whatnot. You have Regieleki, which is extremely fast, the fastest one in the format. And I guess you can... that's probably about it. So one thing I don't like about this team is that their Trick Room user is Gengar, and Gengar isn't the best Trick Room user, but I can see that they don't seem to want to go Trick Room. Like most of the time, they will just be using maybe Imprisoned Trick Room on Gengar. Another thing is that their type spread isn't that vast, because you can see a lot of grass types, you can see like multiple, well, there's only one fire type. You can see multiple water types, like there's some type overlaps, and yeah, that's why we didn't give this team such a high type spread score, but in all the other aspects, this team is wonderful. Like if you trade out some mons for like better type, like if you can cover more typings, this team is amazing.
Yeah, I just think this team just hurts itself because there's so many monotype Pokemon on it. Hitmontop, Cherim, Thievul, Groudon, just to name a few.
I agree. And you do have overlapping typings in Venusaur Cherim, Venusaur Gengar, you have Cloyster Suicune. Like those are some of the typings that overlap, and if you can somehow deal with that, this team would be even better. It's already good. It's already very good. So yeah, that's about it for this team. Kyle, let's move on to the next one.
Yeah, moving on, we have the HK Blades, which has a score of 11 out of 15. They had the #1 pick in the draft, so they ended up with Zacian Crowned, which is very strong. The one thing, this team's biggest weakness is its physical special spread. A lot of physical attackers. When you look at it, there's not that many special attackers, which could come back to hurt them. Intimidate and Will-O-Wisp could really hurt this team. But other than that, it's very good. Their synergy is really good with Comfey and Zygarde, or Comfey and Saw. Thundurus is also very strong. Articuno Galar is an underrated support Pokemon in my opinion. It gives access to both Tailwind and Trick Room, along with the screens and other things. So yeah, I think this is just an overall very balanced team. And for having the first overall pick and getting Zacian Crowned to end up with something like Zygarde is insane that they were able to get that. So yeah.
Thank you for your explanation, Kyle. In case for any new viewers who haven't watched any of my previous Draft League videos, this is my team. I am the HK Blades, and yes, I agree that I didn't do well for getting more special attackers. But my team on the team chart does not have any obvious weaknesses, so that's very cool. Next up, we have the Samrat Jack, which has 11 out of 15 for the scoring, which is the same as the Bonsai Boys and the HK Blades. So one thing about their team is that they don't really have that much typing spread. Well, it's not really their typing spread's bad, it's that they don't really have cores. They lack a grass type, so they cannot finish the fire water grass core. Cores are quite important in draft, because like most people will base their teams and draft over a core just so that it's easier and like they cover for each other and whatnot.
One thing I really like about this team is Ditto at tier 3 could be a very underrated Pokemon here. You bring Ditto with either Transform or Imposter, either one, and boom, you have yourself a third restricted Pokemon. Choice Scarf Ditto, you can outspeed their restricted Pokemon and OHKO it with one of their moves. It's just kind of cool. Just picks up their weaknesses so well. I think it covers it so well.
Even if Ditto does not transform into a restricted Pokemon, you like, let's say it transformed into one of their low tiers or maybe a support mon. Well, now you know what they have. Like, it's just information, and information is key in draft. This is a very good team. Like, you can see Swift Swim, you can see Raichu protecting Kyogre from electric moves, you can see Grimmsnarls in amazing support with Screen Solgaleo will be basically unbreakable, Arcanine with Intimidate and Snarl. Like, this team is amazing. Like, add a few more typings in there, like add the grass type, and this team is incredible. Like, it's already very good.
Moving on to the next team, we've got the Playful Pichus with a score of 12. Once again, very good synergy with this team. You've got Palisand Estelgor, you've got Scrafty and Kiram White and Zekrom Kiram White. You've got really cool pairings. You've got a Scavalier and a Selgor. This team is just really cool.
Yeah.
Tangrowth for redirection. You've got Tornadus for Tailwind. You've got Behemoth for Trick Rune. This team is insanely good. The synergy and the support is amazing. I really like this team.
I agree. This team has nothing that's under a score of 2. I think it's a first for any team so far. And yeah, I love that this team has Kiram White and Zekrom, like a duo, and then a Scavalier and a Selgor, which is also a duo pair of like Pokemon. Although they like a Scavalier and Selgor don't necessarily pair well with each other. It's just cool that they have it. And like actually like being practical, like this team has so much options. They have so many different leads they can go with, which is very good. But one thing I don't really like about this team, obviously we need to talk about both spectrums, is Basculin. Basculin, well, it's more of a personal opinion, but I feel like for water types, I would prefer water types who are like more bulky, and Basculin is not what I would say bulky, because like bulky waters are just so good in my opinion. So if you got like is water turn tier 4? If it is, that's amazing. Like just bulky water types are with support options are so good. But yeah,
I agree.
Even with Basculin, it's still very good. Basculin isn't like something to laugh at. Like adaptability, like it does a lot.
Moving on to the next team, being the Great Falls Garchomp with a score of 12.5. So what we can see right off the bat, they're the first team to have a 3 in both synergy and offensive defensive. I believe they're the first team to have 2 3s in general.
Yep.
The synergy here is just insane. You've got Porygon 2 Calyrex Ice. You've got Inteleon Colossal, Inteleon Landorus T. You've got Pinsir Decidueye, Girder Colossal if you want to go slow Trick Room mode Colossal. You've got Girder Clang. I think the one thing this team lacks is a Dragon type. I think had they have a Dragon type, I think this team would have been so much better. I think we may have seen 3 3s if they had a Dragon type, but they're missing that Fantasy Core and the Dragon Steel Fairy type. So
that's the only thing that is holding them back, is that they don't have a Dragon type. They have good support options with Yveltal for Tailwind. They have Trick Room in Calyrex Ice and obviously Porygon 2. They have like Icy Wind and like Inteleon, and they just have so much options. Like they have Intimidate, they can Snarl with Yveltal, they can do so many things. They have so many options. Like their team just won't be predictable on what they lead.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's probably about it for this team. This team is amazing. So moving on, we have the Montana Metagross, which also scored 12.5 out of 15. This team is Kyle's team, and I am very proud of him for doing so well. So as you can see, his synergy he has so many options. He has Rillaboom Hawlucha with Unburden procking. He has Rillaboom Prim with like maybe Grassy Glide and proc Weakness Policy, or just both of them on the field. Being on the field is just very good synergy for like covering each other's typings. Heck, he can go use Grass Pledge and Water Pledge if he really wants to. Nobody's stopping him from doing that. He has like Rillaboom to proc Turton's Policy with Bulldoze or Earthquake. He has Giratina, which can be procced a Weakness Policy by Piloswine, or Piloswine can also proc a Weakness Policy with Latios. He has Togekiss. If he pairs Togekiss with Zamazenta like a lead or something, Togekiss can easily redirect moves, and Zamazenta can just go and do a lot of damage. Because like Togekiss is weak to steel types, and Zamazenta can just use a fighting move on those steel types. And yeah, those are only a few of the options he can do. He has so many options. And yeah, to be honest, there's not really anything I dislike about this team. Maybe one thing is that it's more on the bulky side, but to be honest, that's not that much of a problem, because bulky offense is a very good type of team, and I think this is basically what I would say is a bulky offense team, and I like it a lot.
Thank you for all those kind words about my team.
Yeah, you are a good drafter, and I have to admit it. So, on to the last team, which is the first place in ranking, at least in our opinion. Do you want to do it, Kyle?
Sure. With a score of 13.5, we've got Lit on a Prayer. So the first thing you can see with this team stands out. You've got a 3 in support, you've got a 3 in type spread. This team support, it's got Whimsicott, which is arguably the best support mon in the game. It's just fantastic with what it can do. Tailwind, Trick Room, fantastic support Pokemon. Prankster for prankster things. Yeah, Palkia Lunala is a great restricted duo. You've got Celesteela, which arguably is one of the best mons in draft formats. You've got Sylveon to proc a weakness policy on Palkia. You've got Drapion, which can do lots of things. You've got Alolan Marowak, which is an underrated pick here, in my opinion. I think it completes that Fire, Water, Grass type core in fantastically.
I totally agree with everything you just said. This team is just insane. Like, one thing I would say is that I don't see the need for Gastrodon. Like, Gastrodon has Storm Drain, I guess, which protects allies from water moves, but the only thing that's weak to water is Marowak, and to be honest, I would just trade it for another ground type. I wouldn't really take Gastrodon, but yeah, I think I would take it for like something like Crocodile, since yeah, it is an
I was gonna say Crocodile might really help this team.
Yeah, I think they actually traded away Crocodile. I'm not sure, but I don't really see the need for Gastrodon. I guess it gets Yawn, but Sylveon does the same thing. Like, I think Crocodile fits this team a lot more. But either way, this team is insane. It's really good. Like, I just can't really say anything bad about it. It has great synergy. It like has a fairly balance in offense and defense, like bulky and fast mons. Like, their type spread is amazing. They basically fit all the cores. I see this team has a lot of synergy. Like, you have Whimsicott. How can you not have good synergy? It has a balance between offensive Pokemon and defensive Pokemon. It has basically every single type core you can think of. I'm pretty sure it has every single type core you can think of. It has a balance between physical and special Pokemon. Like, I mean special attacking and physical attacking Pokemon. And its support, well, it has Whimsicott. What can I say? So that's basically about it. There's nothing else to add, except for this team is amazing. I can't wait to see him proc Palkia's weakness policy using Cryogonal's Freeze Dry and killing himself. Yeah, but that's probably...
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be amazing for everyone who faces up against it. Mayor, listen up. Please kill your Palkia with Cryogonal. Thank you. That's about it for all the teams. So yeah, that's about it. In conclusion, these are the rankings, and to be honest, there's nothing else we could say. Let's just hope that everyone has a great season, and that's about it. So thank you, Kyle, for joining me in this power ranking. I will have your Twitch in the description. Please go give him a follow. He does random content, and he's a very cool guy. And that's about it for this video, I guess. So if you guys enjoy my videos, be sure to like and subscribe. Also, ring that notification bell, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace out.
Bye.